Good morning from Europe. It's Tuesday, April 7th, day 9 of the second month of Iran war. While everything in the markets depend to the news and updates from this war, we have to first of all watch the news and updates coming out from Iran or Washington to understand what's going to happen in the market as the energy price, commodities price, even the stock movements all depend on these updates. In the second month, we have still the tensions at the highest level. Today is the last day of the deadline that President Trump gave to Islamic Republic based in Iran to give their to reply their ceasefire suggestion, which had something like about, if I don't mistake, the 15 points. The report says that Iranian they didn't accept that offer. They came back with another offer with 10 points, and they are not seeking for the ceasefire. They are seeking that they want to have the peace agreement, which is not at all in what the United States wants. Even if the United States want this peace, I mean, I'm not want based on the points that Iranian ask. Otherwise, yes, the United States also seeking for the peace agreement, but in case that they leave the country, they leave the power. United States open the Strait of Hormuz forever, but the Iranian says that we don't open the Hormuz Strait. That's going to be under our control, and if not the Hormuz Strait. What if they control the Hormuz Strait? It means that they're controlling the whole Persian Gulf and the energies that's coming out from this Gulf. The thing is that it's not something that not just the United States, U.S. allies also will not accept that. However, the tensions is high. VIX again, the VIX index again back above 24, between 24 and 25, looking even a higher that increase the market risk, which increasing the rates for the bonds, 10 years bond rates in United States again is back to 4.36%. That increased the dollar index as well back about 100, which means that pressure the gold market. That's why we can see the gold price down to $4,666 right now. But on the other hand, we can see slightly increase in the energy prices. Gas price came back around $2, around 86, 87 cents, while the oil WTI trading at 115.27 to $115.27, and Brent oil trading around $111. That means that the market is still counting on the higher tensions. So there many believes that there is a very low chance to see this ceasefire. And President Trump last night said that we are going to continue that to end this situation and this treat that we have there as at something which supposed to be ended earlier, not longing for 47 years, and that things that continued for the 47 years, this thing can should be ended now here and forever. That's what he is looking for, and he mentioned that Iranian people is on Iran. They are asking our help, and we will not let them down. I mean that kind of continues. The geopolitical tensions in the Middle East really sounds like the MAGA needs us to gain here, to win here, to shows and to prove again for everyone that the MAGA is really MAGA. They brought back the greatness to the America back again, as in many countries they were talking about that after things that happened in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. The United States is not such a big power as it was before, and that's why the United States need to prove that. So that's why the many analysts, as I do personally as well, do not I believe that this way should continue with the big win for the United States, especially in this kind of situation that that the Islamic Republic based in Iran spending its weakness, the most worst days, and now it's very weakened, especially after the weakness that happened after the losing the power out of Iran. We know that the Hamas, Hezbollah, they are not as stronger as they were before. Same to Syria, they lost to Syria, they lost many of their powers in Yemen by the Houthis. The Houthis are not as strong as they were a year ago. So all the situation putting the Islamic Republic based in Iran in a weaker position, and that's what United States wants at this condition, while everyone thinking that wow, the Iranian I mean, actually, it's not out of the reality as well. The Islamic Republic based in Iran, for regional level, we think of as a regional power, they are the real regional power, and now they're controlling the region. So that's the case. That's the reason that the United States seeking to get over all this and show its power. That's what I mentioned that. I talked about that to explain that why I do not believe that this tension is going to end here. So that's why the tensions is high, and we should still count about the higher oil prices around $100. But with the things that going on, I don't think that there's such a high price for the oil can continue for longer. That can be solved faster. In the stock market, U.S. futures, as we know that the physical market yesterday still it was closed because of the Good Friday holiday, but the future market is open, and we know that so far Dow Jones losing by more than 0.2%, S&P 500 losing almost 0.4%, and Nasdaq is down more than 0.5%. Same situation we can see in Asia, but a little bit mixed. We know that in Asia market, Nikkei gaining by 0.2%, Kospi almost the same, in Shanghai almost for the Shanghai main index is the same, but other Asian stocks they are losing. So the mixed market coming out from there, that shows that some countries are still, and some of these economies are still there hoping on a positive reaction on a positive answer, and I mean answer for the usage by Iranian. And let's see, let's see that what's going to happen here. Anyhow, the latest news from the Strait of Hormuz also is like that we know that earlier today or last night we had two cargo ship shipping the Qatar's LNG gas past the Strait of Hormuz, which they were using the Pakistani flag. That's what happened in the news and the geopolitical news that can how it can affect the market. Looking at the economic calendar, yesterday we had it was many economies they were closed, but still we had PMI numbers from some of them. In India, service PMI slightly increased from 57.2 to 57.5. That increased the composite PMI also to 57. In Brazil, we had the service sector losing the momentum from 53.1 down to 50.1. That's why the composite PMI also lost the gain and lost the steam, falling down to under 50 expansions area to 49.9. In the United States, also situation was not such as good as it was expected to be. ISM non-manufacturing PMI is to 54, down from previous 56.1. That's why we are expecting to see the weaker economic activities, especially in the service sector, especially after this war for the next month as well. On the other hand, the ISM non-manufacturing prices shows increase from 63 to 50.7. This is while the employment index or labor market index for the service sector also is down to 45.2 from previous 51.8. Generally, what the market says is what we can understand from these numbers, that economy is getting under pressure, especially in the service sector. We know that many flights are canceled, many service sectors with the higher oil prices if get affected by that. Anyhow, let's wait and see what's gonna happen. But now what we can see in the market that the service sector is under pressure. We talked about that in a weekly outlook, and we told that this happens when the oil price increase. Anyhow, in the bond market, 3 and 6 months bill action yesterday we had in United States, and both of them they slightly increased, and now the market shows that in the short term, no one talks about the rate cut, and maybe even that we can have the hawkish Fed at the end of the month. Anyhow, the market now still counting on a higher for longer. In Australia so far today, we saw the service sector falling sharply from 52.8 to 46.3. That's why the composite number also fell under 50 expansion area, down to 46.6 from 52.4, showing that the market in Australian markets got affected. And maybe those numbers can put can put more pressure and can encourage the other countries, including the Australia and European economies, to get and take advantage. And I mean, to take their part on controlling the Strait of Hormuz, which something that Donald Trump is seeking for, with the holding the Strait of Hormuz situation more tricky and risky. I mean, to keep it in this way, because it's good for the United States. The U.S. says either you can go out, open the Hormuz, or come and buy the gas and oil from us. This both sides winning for United States is condition. In Japanese market also we had some interesting numbers. The household spending gained by 1.5% monthly, less than expectation, but still on the annual scale we can see the household spending falling by 1.8%, shows that the Japanese still they have a dot on spending their money, which means the higher pressure for the Japanese market, because what we can see here is that they are not willing to spend the money. That can slow down the inflation. And the prices as well, as the demand is lowering. But the market should pay more attention to that, because if it continues in this way, we can see the negative effect of that on the GDP as well. 30 years mortgage rates, 30 years, bond yields in Japan also slightly increased from 3.39 to 3.69. But continuing that, today we will have PMI numbers, composite and the service sector from most economies across the world. Doesn't matter, just like European, Asians we already had, European and Americans economies also, they will publish their numbers today. Market look mostly we'll see mostly on two things today later, as for the economic calendar. One is the durable goods orders in the United States, which will tell us how the US consumers are looking at the market condition right now. If they actually, I haven't thought those numbers are for the February. I mean, they're covering for the February before the war starts, but still it is important. But since that they are for February, we can somehow slightly ignore them, but should be watched again still more closely. These numbers will be important, but more than this, we have to watch the IEA short-term energy markets outlook. This will tell us that EIA, U.S. Energy Administration's short-term energy outlook. That will tell us what's going on in the energy market, and how the U.S. Energy Administration thinks about the war, the effect of the war on the demand and the supply. Will be this number is very important. You should watch it more closely. Try to read the report, which will be published earlier by evening by the European time. Yeah, that's what's happening in the market. Generally, with these numbers and this situation in the market, first of all, we have to say if the situation continues in the same the level that we have right now, the tension, we can still be negative for the stock market, for the cryptocurrency market, and the gold, positive for the US dollar, for the bond yields, and oil price as well. However, it's not something that usually the powers across the world wants that. So that can change rapidly. That can change so soon, sharply. So that's why be careful about your market, about your position and trades, and make sure that before anything else, you can follow the geopolitical news as right now. That's the main market more. That was what's happening in the market and what we are expected to see. Hope it was useful for you. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye bye.